what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
This is Captain Gimpy, and I'm Zen Bora.
Hello.
I don't know why he's talking like that, like he's from the Matrix or something with a low voice.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
What are we talking about today? We're talking about the Wachowskis' Sense8.
I can't figure this out right now. Sense8.
Oh.
Supposed to be.
Oh yeah, because the stylized 8.
Oops,
yeah, sorry.
Dang
So we're talking about the final, I guess, movie episode of season 2.
Yeah, it was nearly 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 hours.
Yep.
And we braved it just for you.
Yeah, we had to watch it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we might have.
Well, because we knew that if we tried to watch it separately, like, we'd probably have to watch it in multiple sittings.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we just...
Yeah, we just watched it.
Because I have ADD brain and
yeah, and...
it would have taken me like 6 hours to watch that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, Sense8 is a sci-fi-ish show that was conceived, written, directed, and produced. It was produced by Netflix, and it was done by the Wachowskis.
Yep.
Can't call them the Wachowski brothers anymore. They're the Wachowskis. Because both of them are now trans.
Yeah.
Which I didn't actually know until, I think it was last year.
Yeah, and I said, like, oh, dude, did you know they're both trans now?
I knew Lana Wachowski was Lana Wachowski, but that's all I knew for years. And then her then brother transitioned very quietly, and then I remember looking it up. I'm like, wait, both of them? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. One of the things, so the deal with it is, it kind of reminds me of X-Men in a way, because it centers around a group of people with mutant powers, but they operate in clusters. So a group of 8 people will be sensorially and telekinetically connected to each other, kind of like a web.
Yeah.
And then other people can pop in and out of one person's sort of relay, but they can't fully see the rest of the cluster. It's only between the two Sensates that belong to different clusters.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about the show is the diversity and the types of relationships. And they have a trans character played by a trans actress, and everything is all mixed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because of that. And the sci-fi plot throughout the show was really, really well done.
Yeah.
Which is part of the problem. It was so well done, they were spending movie money on a Netflix budget.
Yeah, it's pretty compelling, and you can tell when you watch this movie-length episode that they were really trying to tie up all the loose ends and have a satisfying ending.
And we'll get to part of the problem with doing it that way in a second.
Yeah.
Netflix actually came out and said that the reason they were canceling it had nothing to do with the performance of the show. The ratings were consistently high. Critics loved the show. Most audiences loved the show. They were just spending a lot of money because everything was shot on location.
Yeah.
Everything was shot on location. I mean, they went straight up Peter Jackson with that shit. And that was the problem. That was the only reason why Sensei didn't get a 3rd season.
Yeah.
So was it worth it?
You know what? I would say it's worth it. If you just watch it, if you've never seen the show before, if you watch it from season 1 to the last season, I think you'd be satisfied. I mean, we watched it pretty regularly. We heard they canceled, and then they fought for a final episode.
They were fighting for that thing for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix was saying, maybe the Wachowskis were saying, Netflix said no, and then Netflix was like, well, we didn't say no, and then they were like, well, what if we just did one movie thing, and then we wrapped it up that way, and then Netflix was like, okay, you can have that.
Yep.
So that's what they did. And at the end of the show, they have a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on during the credit roll, and at the end it says dedicated to the fans, because that's really why they push to get it finished. Otherwise, they were just going to drop it and be like, oh, well.
It's a nice run.
So what happens?
So the cluster, one of their own, a sensei named Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets captured by this organization. What was their acronym again?
OPB?
Yeah, OPB.
EOP?
Yeah.
POB? Well, okay, when I first started watching it, we had the Spanish subtitles on, and they changed the acronym like 3 times.
Yeah, so that was a little confusing.
So I don't actually remember what it is. So I'm gonna just call them the Hand.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Jade Empire.
He's captured and experimented on. His cluster, they have a sensei named Whispers, who was he's basically been the antagonist of, I guess, this whole series.
Who we also know as Milton Bryant, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's his given name, and the show tells you that like he's gone by a lot of names.
Yeah.
He's kind of like this covert ops dude. And one of the reasons he's important is because he's one of the few sensates that can travel in and out of clusters.
Yeah.
Like, he can see the rest of a cluster, even though he doesn't belong to that cluster once he makes contact with somebody inside.
Yeah, it clearly makes him distinct. And he kind of, throughout the show, he kind of moves around through these, they call them zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has these various genetically engineered suits
Yeah.
of people that he goes into, and he can control multiple at one time.
Yeah.
That's another thing. His ability is so strong that he can control multiple bodies simultaneously from a distance. And for the longest time, in the world of the show, he is supposed to be the only one who can do that. But the Indian dude from Heroes.
Yeah, in this show, he's a character called Jonah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, like Jonah and the whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot.
That's how I remember.
Yeah.
And I think they did that on purpose.
Because he really is inside the belly of the whale, so to speak. Like, he speaks from a guy who's tried it all, and he's pretty much given up because he thinks he's exhausted all his options.
Yeah. Which makes him a pretty interesting character, because the cluster of main characters kind of view him with suspicion at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you've watched the show, he's kind of double-crossed them a couple times to avoid being captured.
Yeah.
So they don't trust them. So I can't really say this episode or movie centers around any one person in particular. Unlike the last 2 seasons, each story kind of centered around a character.
Yeah.
And the others in the group would come together to help that one person. This is more like, let's get everybody together for one last gigantic adventure, and it just goes crazy.
Yep.
And guess what? Wolfgang kills Whispers GTA 5 style.
He kills all the bad guys.
GTA 5 style. Well, he is the GTA 5 dude in my head.
Yeah.
He's like this German-Russian mobster kind of dude who happens to be a sensei. And, like, the weird thing in terms of, like, characters, they actually explore the idea behind having an open relationship. There is an open relationship dynamic, which I've never seen portrayed. I've been a part of it, but never, like...
I think that's what I liked about this show, was it was willing to show different relationships that you don't normally see on TV, or really, like, movies here.
I mean, for most people, you just hear about it online.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. And one of the patterns of the show that I noticed is they always have an orgy scene.
And you know when that started, don't you?
When?
When? You tell me.
2.
Or was it 3?
I think it was... No, I think
No,
it was
2.
Yeah.
It was the second Matrix film. You
where
remember?
they had the dancing and...
You remember where he was like, Zion!
Yeah.
Hear me!
Well, don't forget, in 3, you had the Merovingians Club with all the.
I mean.
But you can tell
they lean on the second Matrix's party orgy thing.
Yeah.
As this key stylistic component in this.
Yeah.
So at the end of every season, they always have like some weird party orgy thing.
Yeah, / rave sometimes.
And it literally is a party / orgy. It's not. I'm not using that figuratively.
Yep.
So if you're offended by things, I'm sorry, don't watch it.
There is one thing in the movie episode that they brought up, which I think they were gonna try to explore more, but since it's canceled, was that shaved woman and that archive they have.
So they have a thing that kind of reminds me of the Hall of Akashic Records in occult practices. That's like this world that Sensates inhabit between their world and the human world, supposedly the Homo sapien world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like this limbo, but there's a lot of people there, and they're supposedly like knowledge gatherers, and that's why they're so powerful.
Yeah. Because
they've learned how to use their sensate abilities to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't really go anywhere because this is, again, the last entry.
Yeah.
So,
but it was kind of cool to see, but at the same time, it was bittersweet.
Joe's case.
Yeah.
Make it.
Yeah, make more stuff.
Find a way.
Because this show has a lot of daring ideas.
Talk to YouTube. YouTube Red. Hulu, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Somewhere. Or start your own streaming service.
Yeah.
That's what Legendary Pictures and Geek and Sundry did. They just started their own streaming service.
Yeah.
Of course, your content is a much more high production value. As you can tell, we're babbling because we like the show.
Yep.
But the question is, did this have any problems?
The episode itself?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. Since they were really trying to make this the last thing that everybody does together,
mm-hmm.
like everything, like the last hour, the last 40 to 60 minutes was really, really, really forced.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Wolfgang,
yep.
boom!
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, their friends were like, oh, we just thought we'd come see you in Paris.
Yeah, it's a big wedding.
They didn't even say that, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They were like, oh.
They kind of implied it.
There were a couple people that literally just said, oh, I thought it would be a good idea. We've never been here, so we just came. And then they spring a wedding on you.
Yeah.
And then there's the orgy and the party.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the last 30 minutes, 27 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The last 27 minutes is that.
Yeah. A very, very long resolution.
And it was just, like, honestly, it was partying for the sake of partying. And you know what? I mean, I know they have a tendency to do gratuitous party scenes that serve, like, no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But given that this is the last time they think they're ever going to see this show, I really can't blame them.
Yeah.
Would we recommend you watch it? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
If you like things like X-Men, if you like things that tend to push social boundaries a little bit,
mm-hmm.
if you like interesting characters, if you like action, this has all of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of romantic subplots and a lot of, like, emotional confusion in there, too. So those of you that are looking more for an emotional drama, this also has that.
Yeah.
And if you're offended by relationships that exist outside societal norms, you are the only people that I would recommend probably not watch it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. And I think...
Yeah, I think the same.
You agree, do you?
Yeah. Alright. So yeah, those are our thoughts on the last episode of Sense8. Overall, I give the entire show a thumbs up.
Yeah, entire show thumbs up. Final episode, it's a little leany.
Yeah.
It's a little bit leaning.
But if you're looking for closure, just watch it.
I mean, if you've already watched the show,
yeah,
just watch.
Just finish it.
Finish it, okay?
Yeah.
Finish it.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's fine.
So yeah. Those are our thoughts.
Till next time.